Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Pulse. I'm Keanna Faircloth, host of Afternoon Jazz on WBGO. And tonight I'm super excited because I've nailed down the International Woman of Mystery, Miss Keanna Moses. I'm super excited to have this sister on The Pulse today because she has been doing amazing things for really, in my mind, her entire life, not just here, but internationally. We're going to talk all about it. But first, I'm going to give you a taste of who she is in case you don't already know who Miss Keanna Moses is. Watch this.
Myself, how dumb am I? Got a death wish I wanna satisfy. It's so powerful, I can't deny. Ego taking you seems impossible. Why did I stop on that? Hey, I keep running when I should wait. I keep running. Whatever is said, whatever is done, whatever is left, whatever may come, whatever it was, whatever is new, whatever it is, whatever is cool.
Comme tout le monde, j'ai fait des erreurs. Je ne suis pas parfaite, mais j'atteins mes autres et je sais qu'un jour j'ai au bout du rêve, au bout du rêve.
Le cycle éternel, qu'un enfant béni, on lui portait. Your melody is sounding good to me. Each and every note, but all the chords you're laying down are like a way. Have I heard this one before? You know some brothers talk like they do, but they don't. I'm tired of playing games, you're messing with my will. And I told myself all along, gotta put it on the line. Gotta put it on the line. I'm gonna need for y'all to turn this shit up loud. This is an original composition of mine that I made with a great singer-songwriter named Ollie Rockberger. This is from my 7th album that will come out only next year, so this is really an exclusive. The album's produced by Troy Miller. And I figured that it was a good time to play this song because this is a song about having grace with yourself. So what I got told, that's what have played. 'Cause some of my mistakes keep on rising. All the dreams I saw still been home, babe. Oh, now I know. It's okay. It's okay, baby. Yeah. I let it all go.
that gives you just a little taste, a little bit of a sizzle reel of Miss China Moses, who joins me right now here on the Pulse. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh my God, I'm so good now that you're here. We did it. We made it happen.
We did it. We made it happen. Thank you so much for your patience and my moving around.
Oh
I'm so
my
sorry.
goodness. It is an honor and a privilege to have you here. I think of you as just musical royalty in a way. If you don't
Wow.
know, she is, of course, the daughter of NEA jazz master and the Grammy Award winning Dee Dee Bridgewater and film producer Gilbert Moses. And you get it honestly. How could you not be who you are today?
I mean, when you're born, when you're born into a trade, into a world, into a tribe, it can go either or ways. You can have parents that don't want you to do it or parents that encourage you and give you the tools to do it. And I had the latter, and I'm very, very lucky. Yeah, very
Tell
lucky.
me, let's go back a little bit because I'm just curious because you've grown up in such a unique way, born in LA, but you were raised in Paris, fluent in French. What was
Yeah.
life like growing up for you?
I'm still growing up, first of all, but life was cool. I mean, France is a really nice country to grow up in. I thank my mother every day for giving me that opportunity. I often say that I am a French person with an American passport because I know I sound American and I look Black American, but I only left France 4 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, Paris is my home and Europe is my playground. And it made, the possibility of doing what I do, which is not, kind of in between a lot of different worlds. It made it possible. And I don't think I would have had that possibility if I grew up in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Grateful for that.
Absolutely. Now, I remember seeing a video of you. I didn't know that you were only 16 when you came out with Time.
Yeah.
16 years old. You seem so much just wiser and more mature than your years then.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I was bossy. I still am. Yeah, 16. My first single came out. My father always had a dream. Before he passed away, he always said I would sign to Virgin Records. And he would say that, and I wasn't even into music like that. And I ended up signing to Virgin Records. I ended up signing to this label, this new label called Source. And it was a label that had, hip hop, reggae, trip hop, electronica, greats like Henry Salvador and Camille. It was a really interesting label. And they just let me do whatever I wanted to. So Time was the first song I ever wrote and composed. And then the video is by this amazing, super known photographer and videographer named Jean-Baptiste Mondino, who did like Nina Cherry and Madonna and all types of stuff, iconic stuff. So I kind of got lucky, and I just wanted to do my music. And Michelle Ndegocho is playing the bass, and it's produced by Bob Power. Yeah, I didn't meet her at that time. She sent it in. But I wanted to be her, so that's why I have like a androgynous suit on. Like they tried to dress me up. Like my press pictures, they were like, okay, wear this dress and everything. And I was kind of a tomboy back then. And I was like, I'm wearing this suit.
Control your image early. You were doing that.
I mean, I tried. Of course, they won at certain points in my career. But yeah, I was signed to a major label package to do pop R&B, and that's what I did. I did pop R&B in French for from 96 to 2004.
Wow. Let me just say, as an aside, your makeup was on point. It's timeless. Even now, I look back on it, I'm like, her makeup is killing even now.
Jean-Baptiste. Yeah, that he. If you look at his work, he's amazing. If you look at his work, all of his work is timeless. And I was singing live in that video.
Really?
That's why it's an SM58 microphone. Yeah, a lot of people are just like, why does this not sound like the record? I'm like, because I was singing live because he wanted everybody to hear that I could sing. And the video stayed up on the charts in France for a good 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I put out my first album, and it didn't do well commercially, but people were like, "What are you doing? Who are you?" Like, I'm doing like R&B, house, and two step, and trip hop, and and funk in the same album with a blues song, and they're just like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't know. This is the music I want to do." And so I managed to get by 3 albums with the major label before they let me go. I was like, yes, I got 3 albums out of them. Yeah.
Wow.
It was really a really cool time. But yeah, I started at 16. I was doing radio at the time. I did a lot of I came up through French hip hop basically. So I was singing choruses on a lot of French rap group songs and doing radio, and things just happen, It's cool. My mom pushed me. I was like, but I'm not you. And she was just like, you just got to do the best you can with what you have.
So did you find yourself trying to like really fill her shoes and compare yourself to her?
Never. And my mom's been in every studio session that I've ever been in.
Wow.
Except my album Night and Tales. She got lost. That was really funny. She was supposed to come to the session and she forgot to put the zip code in. I was recording in London. In London, if you don't put the zip code in, you can end up on the other side of town, which is what happened to my mom. And then she was just like, I'm too tired. I'm going back to the hotel. Maybe this was the one that I'm not supposed to be there. Because I had just like a tradition of having my mom on every single album doing background vocals and stuff. Like my mom's always been by my side. Yeah. And that's and in my creative journey. And she saw things in me before I even knew I had them. I never think I really desired them, but they've always been there. So I just ran with it because I'm lazy.
So did you come out of the womb singing? I'm just wondering.
No. I sang off key when I was little. I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be like nobody could tell me anything. I wanted to be Nina Cherry and MC Light in French. And the A&R who signed me, his name is Philippe Escudie. I remember my first demo, I was singing the chorus. I was rapping, singing the chorus. And I was like about 15. And he was like, listen, how can I say this without hurting your feelings? You have a great voice. It has a certain grain, like we know it's you as soon as you open your mouth, but you can't rap. And that was like my whole dreams just crumbled in front of me. So I'm like totally a frustrated rapper. I still can't rap, but if any of my friends write me a verse, I'm like, yo, let me just write me a verse. Write me a 16 bar real quick. Let me get at this.
Let me get on that. Let me get on
that. I can sound like I can rap. Like I can do I can do all that stuff, but no, it's bad.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. So I'm wondering, like, so Night and Tales clearly is like an amazing album. I absolutely.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
It. But it's not for me. It's not just pigeonholed into that jazz genre. Have you always wanted to like make yourself, I guess, more malleable to fit into not just one genre but several?
It's just I have multiple personalities and I can't keep it straight. And I don't believe as an artist, and especially a vocalist and a singer-songwriter, because I'm a singer-songwriter first and foremost. I don't think that you should have to decide. I come up with bass lines and words and melodies, and then the band builds behind it. And then I always have a specific sound for each album. I'm always just searching for a sound. And I want my sound. I don't want to sound like anybody. So Night and Tales, with the producer and the co-creator of all the songs, Anthony Marshall, we were listening to Roberta Flack's First Take. And that was our ground sound for the album. I was like, I wanted, and Anthony Marshall, he comes from like the pop world. So he's like working with Craig David and Nelly Furtado and
wow.
And doing demos for Beyonce and all this, working with Britney Spears and all this stuff. So he comes from that world. He's a gospel cat, British Jamaican, and of course, he can sing me into the freaking ground and plays like about 10 instruments.
Wow.
But he and I both were like, okay, the songs have to be a short song format because we like that format, like popular culture. And even when jazz started, the songs weren't long because the records weren't long. So we
Right.
like packing everything into the shortest time possible so that when I was on stage, I could expand and that the audience could get, a whole other vision of it. But for the record, it's the song, it's the story, it's the words, it's the production. Concert, a song that's like 3 minutes on my album can turn into a 10-minute song live. And I guess that's the jazz child in me.
Huh. I love
Yeah.
that. And you
Yeah.
infuse so many different influences into
Yeah.
it. You take
It's
it to
all,
this journey.
I mean, it's all Black American music, that's what it is. It's a kaleidoscope of Black American music. It's a kaleidoscope of what's running through my veins, what's running through your veins, it's our heritage. So I don't think, I've never been a jazz singer. I'm not a jazz singer, even though I did, that tribute to Dinah Washington and the second album on Verve. Once I put that album on This One's for Dinah out on Blue Note, like everybody was just like, oh, she's a jazz singer. I'm like,
That's
nah,
not what that means.
nah, that's y'all missing the whole point, but it's okay. Let me explain it to you. I just try to do my thing, and I think it's important as a vocalist and a singer songwriter to just try to do your thing.
Yeah.
And have wonderful musicians around you that just run with you on the sound that you hear. So I wanted acoustic, but I wanted a pop format in the song. So it's all based around the jazz trio on Night and Tales. It's one takes for the musicians.
Wow.
And then we added stuff on top. We recorded the album in 6 days. We wrote it in 5. We finished it in November 2014, and then it took me until March 2017 to find a label that would put it out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it don't sound like anything. Like people are like, "What are we supposed to do with this?" I'm like, "I don't know. Figure it out."
Right.
So yeah, I produce all my records. So I just kept on searching for a label that would, and I found a label in Germany that would, and they told me, they were super honest. They were like, "Yo, we really want to put your album out, but we got another Black singer coming out. Can you wait 6 months?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I love Germany for that. They're so straightforward. They're like so matter of fact, like A plus B equals C.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm like, yeah, I know, European press can't deal with two, Black singers who are kind of like in the same thing. They can't deal with it.
Yeah.
So
that makes me wonder because, obviously you have, I guess, a unique experience of really being a part of two different cultures, European culture and American culture. Who do you feel has embraced you most in your experience as a musician?
My albums haven't really come out in the States. I've only played, I can count on one hand how many times I've played in the States. So my whole career, it's not for lack of trying. It's just people ain't interested. My sound doesn't sound like the sound here. It's really interesting when you grow up in France, and therefore you grew up in Europe, and you grow up in a system where every country, like 2 hours away by plane, is a whole other country, a whole different culture. It's easier to cross borders. United States, it's a big country. We like our shit. We're kind of and being, bicultural, I see both sides. Like, we made it. This is our stuff. We're not interested in the expat over there doing some stuff with some Black British musicians and it's sounding kind of different. When you really think about it, how many European Black artists have made it over to the States? They're not that many.
Right.
So I'm not considered American. So I went to Canada, I played the Montreal Jazz Fest. I got a horrible review. I played, where else did I play? I've done some gigs in like New York.
but that was like years ago. The last U.S. gigs I did was San Jose Jazz, and I thank them so much, and Portland Jazz. And then tomorrow I'm in San Francisco with Theo Croker at the Black Cat.
Nice.
But that's it. I have no career in the States.
Wow.
It's
So with
hard to get in.
your new EP that's going to be coming out,
Yeah.
what is your plan for that? Are you planning to make more of an imprint here in the U.S.?
I hope somebody's gonna listen to it. You know, it's a global world. What's been interesting to watch, and I hope your family is okay, and I hope that anybody who is watching this, that y'all are right. It's been a tough year and a half,
Okay.
but I find that the wide realm of jazz has started looking like elsewhere. Like everybody's like, wait, what? So now I have time to look and see what's going on in other places. And so hopefully more people from the States will listen to it. But I mean, it's digital, so it's international distribution already.
Right.
You
Tell
know,
us about it. What can we expect on this particular project?
oh, so this EP is basically something that I did a couple of years back with my tour band. So it's basically a live session at this really cool studio called Soup Studios. I don't know if y'all hear this trumpet is going. The New Orleans Jazz Orchestra is playing right now, and I'm backstage. I don't know if you're hearing it, but
Oh, yes, I am.
oh, they are going. They are
I
blowing.
pay attention. I'm like, that's cool. I don't know who that is.
It's killing. Like I'm like trying to concentrate. I'm like, hit them high notes. Okay. That's probably Ashton Parker. Anyways, so so it's a studio session that I did with my live band because, as I said earlier, I really like my album to be my album and for my shows to be my shows. And so we came up with different vibrations on these songs from Nightingales, and I was like, this sounds really too good, and I want to document this moment. I did about 4 years with this band. So it's Ashley Henry on organ and piano. Luigi Grasso is the saxophonist and also my musical director at the time. A Lithuanian drummer named Marius Alexa, who plays with like Bill Lawrence and a whole bunch of people. Joe Armand Jones, who's also on piano and Rhodes. And on bass, it's Neil Charles. So that was my tour band. And it was way before Ashley Henry gets signed to Sony and Joe Armand Jones does his albums and, becomes such a beloved, talent. He's talented from the start. I mean, these cats are talented. I was just lucky to go to London, get into the London scene, fall in with the right people. And I'm very proud because that band, those cats did not know each other before me. And so there's many projects that have spawned off from these guys meeting on my gigs. Really? And that's what I try to, Joe Armand Jones works a lot with, he sometimes uses Marius live shows, but there's another bass player named Luke Winter who used to play with me. He's part of a band called Nubian Twist. And he's also playing on Joe Armand Jones' latest stuff. Okay. Neil Charles and Ashley Henry, who is a cousin of Omar. Ashley Henry and Neil Charles, they didn't know each other. And Ashley and Neil Charles also has a moniker named Ben Mark. He does electronica music too. So he's on Ashley Henry's album. Like these dudes didn't know each other. And I'm like, I just sit back and I'm like, you're welcome.
I know, right? Look at you bringing folks together.
Hey, this is what the community's for. Like, taking a chance. They took a chance on me. I took a chance on them, and they rode hard with me. So I wanted to capture that moment. And that's what the EP is. It's, there's a Janis Joplin cover of Move Over that I did on my album Crazy Blues. But the way that I play it with the guys is totally different. Like it's some rock. It's like funk rock. And then there's also a Ben Mark remix of my song Breaking Point. There's Nicotine and Put It on the Line. It's 4 tracks, but 4 tracks are distinctive in their rhythmic and type of genre almost. Yeah. And that's how I like it. My voice and my words are the most important. My voice comes second. So I'm trying to to bring a whole story and a picture for every song. And sometimes you got to change sounds for that.
Yeah. So October 8th.
Yes, October 8th, the EP will come out. The first song, Nicotine, is coming out on the 27th of August.
I love it. We got a little taste of that.
Yeah. There was a
that's based
lot of smoking involved. A lot of smoking.
I was going to say, it's based on actual, you know, actual relationship with nicotine.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, my songs are so. I try to be so honest. It's my therapy session. Like for most artists, music is therapy. So Nicotine is literally a song. I always say in concert, I'm like, you can either take this for its literal meaning, which is I can't figure out how to stop smoking. Like I stop and then I start again. It's like a love-hate relationship. Or we can be elegant about it and say, it's about that lover that that is not good for you and has torn you apart and he's addictive like nicotine. Whatever floats your boat. Here's the song.
Right.
It's kind of like that's kind of how I roll.
Awesome. I want to get into a little bit of where your career has taken you. Several places. One thing I did not know is that you do French voiceovers for Disney movies. Are you there in The Princess and the Frog?
I'm Princess Tiana in French. I did the Circle of Life for the new Lion King. I've done a couple of other voiceovers like ads for Levi's and Chanel and all types of stuff. I did TV for 13 years. So when you do that, when I was on TV, I wasn't even considered a singer. Like I was a TV presenter first and foremost for many years in France. I always kept on doing my music at the same time.
Yeah.
But for the public eye, I'm the girl from TV. A lot of people don't even know who my mom is. Like, people go to my mom and they're like, oh my gosh, we love your daughter. Which makes her so happy, by the way. That's
really?
She's like, oh my gosh, she gets so thrilled. I mean, for any parent, it must feel amazing. I mean, people take me for her all the time. I'm super proud of that.
You only have her face, her entire face.
I'm her literal mini me. I sound like her. I move like her. I just don't completely sing like her. The only place where my mom's voice and my voice really meet is on ballads. But otherwise, I don't sound like my mom when I sing because she didn't coach me. She was just like, go on, child, you'll make it.
I love that.
Yeah, which is awesome. People are always like, your mother must have given you singing lessons. I'm like, no, she told me how to treat the band.
Okay, that's important.
She taught me how to get the next gig, how to know how to seize an opportunity, to be in a room and how to network with purpose and elegance, and kindness. She taught me stage. She took me around the world with her, when I was a kid. She taught me the sacrifices necessary for a career. She showed me that a woman can be her own producer. My mom's been producing her stuff since the 90s. But she never gave me a singing lesson. The only time she gives me a singing lesson is when we sing together on stage and then she whoops my ass vocally. And I just, I try to do my best and try not to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
So
when she's in the studio though with you, is she giving you pointers? Is she coaching you at all?
No, she's just sitting around loving it. She's like, what do you want me to do? Like, can you do can you do this harmony? Can you do the third for me and the fifth? There we go. Yeah. And octave. Yeah, there we go. Mom, a little bit short and a shorter notes, can you scat on this? She's just hanging out.
Wow.
And it's when we're on stage that we have the most transmission. Now, we've been on stage a lot together. Like we've even gone on tour together. We've had a mother-daughter tour. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, she shows by example. She's one of those humans, and I love her for it because by her example, I've learned things that they can't teach you in school. You can't pay for the type of life education I've received.
Right.
And she took me out of high school. My mom, I'm a high school dropout because of my mother.
Wow. That means she believed in you. Totally.
Yeah, her and my father were like, yo, you can do this. There's a contract. What are you gonna do? It's now. You choose. And once you make that choice, you can't come back. So it's either you stay in school and you kill it, or you do this music. And I saw some zeros and I was like, music. I'll take the deal. I did not know what I was getting into. It's been a wild ride, but it's been a good ride overall. And I've been lucky to have the time. How many artists do you know have the time to develop? You know, I've been gifted with that because I was raised in France. I've been gifted with the jazz festival community in Europe is very family-like. Like once they accept you, they do not let you go.
Wow.
So the whole thing is getting in.
And that's why so many American jazz musicians go over there, sometimes don't come back, because it's like, I'm loved and embraced here in a way that just doesn't.
That you'll never be embraced at home. And it's one of the biggest, now that I'm really in between both countries, I spend a lot more time in the States. My heart is broken when I look at the community around this Black American art form that people just don't know. They don't even know it anymore. Like I get literally upset. And then I get upset because, there's these amazing Black artists, and then, and I'm not being paranoid. There is going to be a white artist that shows like 60% of the talent, and they'll be like, over here.
Right.
And then you go over to Europe and they're just like, nah, there is a full festival in Switzerland that's based off of New Orleans and New Orleans only. Where does that happen? Of course, I'm in New Orleans right now.
Yeah.
But, you take all the great musicians that come from New Orleans, they'll have to leave New Orleans to make it. Like, what's going on? Like, what have we done to our own culture? We've let it go, given it away, chasing a whole stuff without keeping our tradition. And it kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying everybody's doing it, but it is the general thing. Like you can go into any part of a Black city and be like, what jazz do you listen to? And they'll give you like some smooth jazz stuff.
Right.
They'll be like, and I got nothing against smooth jazz, but it's just like, that's one part of it. Like I'm like, that's all and I'm just like, there has to be, even in our community as like media people and stuff like that, there has to be a way to let people know that there is smooth jazz, but there's also this like hip hop R&B influenced jazz. There's, Afrobeat inspired jazz. There's all this stuff that's so killing, and it's all part of the same thing. And we should be as excited, for, some Chucho Valdez that we would be excited for,
the baby,
it's
the
new Branford Marsalis. It's like, come on, can we love our culture more?
I know.
Can we? So that's where I'm at right now, because I've been in media my whole life. So I know how people talk about it.
Yeah. Because you also have this other life as well in broadcasting. You're a tastemaker, really. You're on Jazz FM. Tell me about that, because people look to you to find out, what is on the pulse, basically. What's happening now? You've become that.
Well, thank you. I didn't know I'd become that, but I'm definitely trying to stay aware. Well, thank you, Keanna. But I started Jazz FM about 3 years. I started Jazz FM when I moved to London. So basically, I moved to London. I kept on having fun interviews with them because they were a really sweet team. Yeah. And then I moved to London, and they were like, "You're here? You want a show?"
Wow.
And so I was like, okay. And so I took over from another host who left to go back to Christian radio. And it was like a love show. So it was only love songs that there was playing. And then after that ran out, they were like, you want your own show? And I'm like, yeah. So my show is the extension of the day programming. So I have 10 p.m. to midnight, Mondays through Thursdays. And they let me play literally what I want. Now, there's some songs that are from the station, but it's a great station. So, it's super varied, Jazz FM. Like, they'll go from, in the daytime, they will throw on the loudest, hardest, most obscure Earth, Wind, and Fire tune. And then they'll back it with, like, a guitar, just Josh White and his guitar. Yeah. And then they'll play Georgianne Muldrow. Makes no sense at all. Right. But it's heaven to me. And so the nighttime, they're just like, do what you want. And so there's all this great music coming out, all of these cool artists. So I try to just, play them. That's it. If I like a song, there's no calculation. It's basically me sitting in my pajamas being like, oh my gosh, this is so incredible, and enjoying the fact that that's my job, and enjoying the fact that, I post on my socials, the playlist, I tag the artists. I have an assistant that does that. Bless his heart. Musa, I love you. Because it's a lot of work. Yeah. And when I started doing it, Jazz FM didn't ask me to do that. I did it because I'm an artist and I know how it feels when you get tagged in a post and you're like, oh my goodness, somebody's playing my music. So I started doing that. And then all these artists started reposting. And then the people at Jazz FM were like, wait, all these people are reposting. I'm like, y'all need to show the art. Like, y'all need to tag people. Yeah. I'm like, part of journalism is now this. It's an extra add on to our job, and no, we're not getting paid extra for it. But that's, if you're in music journalism, then you're crazy already from the get-go.
Girl,
listen, if you're in jazz, you're crazy already from the get-go. Like, jazz represents 1% of the market. 1%. So Diana Krall and Gregory Porter and Herbie Hancock and Chick Corea, bless his soul, and all of these, big artists, Marcus Miller, 1%, y'all. Yeah. So you might as well do it with heart. So I got Jazz FM and in the UK, and then I have TSF Jazz in France. That's been going on for 6 years. And I was on Jazz and Soul Radio in France, but that's like a smaller station.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, TSF, you do almost completely in French, right?
Oh, it's completely in French. Yeah. It's completely in French. And that show is a more editorialized, editorialized. Sorry, sometimes my English goes off. It's a show about voices, because on TSF Jazz, they're more straightforward jazz, swing jazz. They play a lot of instrumentals. So I was like, y'all don't play enough singers. So I made a show about singers, and I told them it's called Made in China. And I start from a singer, and then I explore their universe or people that they've worked with, or, just whatever helps me tell their story. So, yeah. That's been going on for 6 years now. I'm proud of that.
Yeah. So is that a part of, you would say, your personal mission? Is that something you want to continue to do even while you're making music for the duration?
Yeah, it keeps me from going crazy.
I hear you.
I don't know how many artists have told you this, but it's crazy to live your life about yourself all the time. Yeah. Some people really thoroughly enjoy it. I would say I'm like 50-50. There's some days I'm like, yeah, I'm a badass chick. And then there's other days I'm like, can you just stop? Can you just put your attention to other people? Can you give support? I promised myself when I was about 25 that I wanted to be the adult that I didn't have while I was navigating the industry. Of course I have my mother, but she always kind of stood out. She did not want to influence or impede on my creativity, and I love her for that. She gave me a lot of space, but she was my mom, you know. Um, but I just want to be that person that I didn't have. So if I'm that big sister, that auntie, that the peer, if I'm that cheerleader, if I can be that cheerleader, I want to be that cheerleader for people. It's our culture. We have to sustain it. And we can only sustain it if we give each other props. Like only us can big each other up. Sometimes and I'll stop rambling after this.
You're not
But
rambling.
but sometimes, oh girl, yes I am.
I
It's
love
the age. The age is coming in. No,
I love it.
The thing, like for us as Black women in media, Black women in jazz media, like if we don't stay connected, then who's going to connect us?
Right.
So for the artist, it's the same thing. Like I always tell artists, I'm like, do not hesitate to reach out. We are past the period where you can't ask somebody something. What do you want to know? I'm an open book. What do you have a question about? You want to play me something? You want my honest advice about it? Or you just want me to make you feel good? Let me know. I can do both. It's maybe you should put this song first on the thing. Maybe this is the one that you should send out to this station. Listen to the shows that you're sending your music to. Don't just send everything to everybody. It's too small of a market for that. Yeah. Take the time, know the sounds of the shows, so send them the right song. You'll get much more feedback that way. Like little things.
Yeah.
Little things.
That's valuable advice. It really is.
Listen, I did TV for 13 years and been doing radio off and on my whole life. Like, people who do radio, who are in medias, there's, you get a lot of people asking you stuff. You don't have time to really listen to everything. So please do me a favor, sort through your stuff. Send me the right songs. Send me 2 songs. Don't send me the whole album. I don't need the whole album. I'll listen to it when it comes out. If you want to get in on the show before the album comes out, listen to my show for 30 minutes. Send me the right track that you hear that you think can fit in my show.
Right.
I'm sorry, you got to do a little work because nobody's got money to pay the person to do that anymore. So it's exactly. and it's what I do. That's what I do. Lots of people wonder why I get so much work and stuff. I have no problem cold emailing for a long time. I was Nicole. That's my second name. Nicole was my assistant. She would call people up. She would book shows. She would get the tickets. She would sort through the travel, make the road sheets. Nicole.
Love it. Are you sharing this valuable knowledge? Because I know your mom has an amazing program.
Oh my gosh, the program is so killing. My sister Talani,
yes,
and my mom have made the Woodshed Network, and it's incredible. I wish that had existed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, I wish I could do it now, but I get to assist. Yeah, they had me as a speaker with Manifa Brown.
Yes, our own.
Yeah. So we did a marketing presentation.
That's awesome.
Because
people need that. People need to know that information that are trying to get their music out here and on the airwaves. Absolutely.
It's and now since we're in this worldwide Miss Rona tour that's never ending. Everything's become virtual. So it's like, I tell people, I'm like, if you feel like you need to reach out to your audience and do live streams and, how you ever want to do it, but do it with pure honesty. If you feel like being in your pajamas, be in your pajamas. If you're somebody who likes to get dolled up and have effects and stuff, work it, do it. Like, and if you're somebody who doesn't want to do that, it's okay. Post birds, but put the birds to some killing music.
Right.
Like, use your creativity. You have to use your creativity as much as you can, unfortunately. And there's nobody that's going to just discover you. That doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow. So tomorrow, Cali with Theo Croker.
Tomorrow, San Francisco. Yes, with my brethren. Oh my gosh, his new album is killing.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. I am so glad my mom introduced me to him. Like, we were instant brother and sister when we met. We met about 10 years ago. So yeah. So tomorrow, Cali. And then I go to Germany and France and Tahiti and Germany and France.
So you're back on and popping. Rona ain't gonna keep you down.
Yeah, no, Rona kept. I mean, I've been very, very, very lucky. Rona kept me down for 3 months, but then after that, I was just like, there is a country that is open, and I shall go to it.
I love it.
And that's what happened. I mean, it was so funny. The last gig I did, I mean, the first gig I did this year was the Elk Jazz live stream in Hamburg. So I flew there just for 48 hours to do that and put together a band in Germany because I couldn't bring my band from the UK. That was killing. And then my last year of 2020 was with the Dresden Philharmonic.
Oh, gorgeous.
And we got to stay there for like 4 or 5 days. And, and I'm just like, thank you, Mom.
Yeah.
Thank you for insisting. Thank you, Dad, for having the vision. Thank you to these genes. Thank you to this body. Thank you to the universe. Thank you to all the people. There's so many people. There's so, like, as I'm sitting here in front of you, there are thousands of people who have brought me here. So when I walk on stage, I'm very conscious of that, and you got to stay conscious of that. It's bigger than me. It's not just me.
That's right.
Yeah,
and that whole idea of Sankofa, I live by that myself. You got to look back in order to move forward and thank the people who showed us to stand on. So
yeah, exactly. There's, from old school French promoters who have passed away, legends of promoters. Like, artists don't thank the promoters enough. Like, there's people who came up with the idea of having some friends over and bringing some artists in a field, and it's turned into a 40-year-old festival. Like, those people need to be thanked. It's a lot to put on a festival. I have a festival I'm the artistic director of in Tahiti. It's a lot. We only got to do 1 year, and we had to cancel this year. For a second time. So, but that putting on 1 year, and it's a small festival. I was stressed. It was so much work. It was a joy.
Yeah.
But artists need to thank people. You thank the person who brought you that water. You think, because they're part of the whole thing.
Right.
And you thank the audience. You signed those freaking CDs. I mean, unless you really that much of a badass motherfucker. And there's some people who are that dope that you're just like, no, you don't need to come down from this other planet that you are on, you incredible being you. I can understand it. Some people get a pass, but most of us mere mortals who are just hanging around here, humble students of, humble servants of music, sign the darn CDs. Yeah. It's okay. You don't know who you're signing that CD for,
Right.
You don't know who they know. You never know who's in the audience. It's not for you once you get up on that stage. It's for them.
That's right.
So
Stay humble.
Yeah,
be humble.
it's stay in the music, stay in the beauty of something so powerful, so something that can transcend the worst of situations.
Yeah.
Honor that. It's really important.
And stay in service to it, man.
Stay in service to it. When you see Sonny Rollins, like, yeah, I'm still practicing. You're like, I was hanging with Archie Shep the other day. I was at his house because he lives in France. He lives in Paris. And Archie, Archie's old. He's 80 something. And I was like, Archie, I walk in. He was like, yeah, I really like your song Breaking Point and put it on the line. He was like listening to my music and I'm tripping. I'm like standing here. I'm trying to like hold it in. I'm like,
I know, right? Like, oh my God.
I was like, thank you. In my mind, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Like he was just like, you're honoring, he's like, you're honoring both of your parents. He's like, your writing comes from your dad. Your performance and singing comes from your mom. And you're honoring that. And I was like, thank you, Sensei. Like, shall we open this wine? Shall we get down to the real things in life?
Yes.
This wine and cheese.
Man, what an honor.
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor. And people like that, I know because of my parents and the path that my parents took and the work that they did. They're the true barrier breakers. My father made a theater company called the Free Southern Theater that did free theater in the segregated South in the 60s. And it's still there's still a
wow. You hear that?
Is that
lightning.
thunder?
Yes, it is.
Lightning?
Yes, it is. My gosh.
Yeah, there's still a chapter here in New Orleans. They settled down in New Orleans. He did The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, Willie Dynamite. He directed the first theater version of The Wiz. My mom's dress of Glenda Good Witch of The Wiz is up in the Blacksonian. That's what I call it because I'm not pronouncing that long name. It's my parents. I'm just benefiting from their GPS. They've laid out trails. Like if you really look, the trails and paths have been laid out. Now you can veer from them and create new ones, but the start is kind of always the same.
Yeah.
Work, be good, be ready.
That's right.
Be nice. Work.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, as they say. So
I'm really bad at that, by the way. I'm the worst, but we all I'm the worst singer on the planet for that. Like I have the worst singer advice. What do I do if I want to have a drink? Have a drink.
Right.
Like you know what you're supposed to do and not do. If you decide to do it, then don't feel bad about it because that will make you feel more stressed for no reason.
True.
Do it.
Goodness. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you how much of a joy this has been. Thank you so much, China.
Thank you for letting me run my mouth. I'm gonna go catch the Nojo before they finish the show.
Oh yes, please. But before you go, please tell us, of course, where we can keep up with all things.
I am easy. My name is China like the country, Moses like the guy who speaks to the burning bushes. I'm at China Moses everywhere. So yes, artists, try your best to be the same, have the same handles everywhere. It makes things much easier for people. And if your name is taken, just use your full name. It's not a problem.
True.
Nobody gonna hate you for it. But yeah, I'm at China Moses everywhere. And the EP, The Vibe Tribe, and The Vibe Tribe will come out on the 8th of October. And my new album will be next year, hopefully, if I find a label. We'll see.
Okay. Well, we are rooting for you. Fingers crossed.
Thank you. I'm rooting for you and rooting for anybody who made it this far into my rambling.
Thank you. It has not been rambling. It has been, I have appreciated this so much. Thank you so much, China.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation. It won't be our last time. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes, indeed. When you're in New York, please let me know.
Yes. I will.
Pandemic, I haven't been.
It might shut us down. So yeah.
Right.
I gotta get it quick. But thank you so much.
You're welcome, China. Have a great evening.
I shall. Take care. Plenty of love.
Bye. And thank you all so much for joining us here on The Pulse. China Moses. Be sure to follow her wherever she is going, all over the world at ChinaMoses.com. I'm Keanna Faircloth. Catch me on the radio, Afternoon Jazz on WBGO from 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll see you next time. Have a great night.